Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. Absolutely mental tonight, to be honest. 3-2 away from home at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. Again, as I was saying yesterday, odd performance from Arsenal that has kind of encapsulated what has been an odd season thus far. But major positive, getting a win away from home, something that we've struggled to do this season, and a big 3 points in terms of clinching a top 4 place this season. So on the spin of things, really positive. When I saw the team lineup going into the game, the way the team was set up, I was really looking forward to it. Admittedly, defensively, still very shaky, but that back 3 or back 5, if you want to look at it that way, certainly very exciting. Callum Chambers coming back into the Arsenal team, Mustafi, Koscielny, a back 3 that hasn't played together this season. Inevitably, they didn't seem to work entirely well together at times in this game. Lapses in concentration causing us to concede in both instances. But as well, the team could have done better on the goals we conceded. But nonetheless, I'm really pleased to see Callum Chambers especially come back into the Arsenal team. I felt in that right centre-back role, that's often been a position that we've talked about that could be ideally moulded for someone like Callum Chambers. And I hope that he's able to stake a claim in this team, because he's a player that I think has done really well. Especially when he was out on loan at Middlesbrough, despite them being relegated last season, was a consistent figure in their team. This season, I think that right centre-back role is perfect for him. I think he's done very well in a back 2 alongside Rob Holding in the League Cup. And generally, I think at 22 years old, I mean, it's an incredibly young age for a centre-half. When you look at some players like John Terry playing well into their mid-30s, some players don't peak, especially centre-halves, until their mid to late 20s. So I've got a lot of hope and a lot of faith in a player like Callum Chambers, and I really hope that him and Rob Holding both get the chances that I feel they deserve this season. And as well, it's good for England. They're English players, and you know, it can only be a positive in my eyes. Mustafi as well, coming back into the side, got the goal to kick things off in this game. And again, he looked to be a bright spark. And Koscielny, it's a difficult one with Koscielny. We know he's got this recurring Achilles problem. I sincerely hope that we're looking to the future with people like Rob Holding and Callum Chambers, because as much as I love Koscielny, I think we've got to be very realistic with him. His time at Arsenal isn't going to last forever, no matter how good he can be on his day. He is a player that is playing into his 30s now, and at 32 years old, he's kind of the polar opposite to those kind of players that I just mentioned, the John Terrys that can play well into their mid-30s. He's got this niggling issue, as we know. And we've got to prepare for the future by blooding players such as Chambers, such as Rob Holding, and even players like Christian Bielik into the team in the near future. So, as much as I love Koscielny, I think, you know, it's as good as he can be on his day. There are still times when he can be a cause for concern at the back. But I don't think that was necessarily the case today. I think the team as a whole defended abjectly at times, but those are the kind of individual players that I wanted to hone in on. Chambers especially, as I say, I think it's a huge positive to see him back in the side. But I was really pleased to see us go back to the back 3. It's good to see that we're able of playing in both a back 4 and a back 3 now. Good that Arsene Wenger hopefully will know how and when to appropriately use it for the rest of the season. Wing backs Bellerin and Kolasinac. Good to see Kolasinac back in the team. I thought he played very well today. Bellerin on the opposing flank, he's definitely come under the radar this season in terms of speculation. People have certainly criticised his performances, but I thought he did okay tonight. I don't think he was anywhere near as bad as people made out. The midfield 2, Xhaka and Wilshere, I don't think it's protected enough. I think if Xhaka and Wilshere had a player like Francis Coquelin playing alongside them, or even had a player like Aaron Ramsey just to bolster that midfield, that would work well, but then that kind of jeopardises the whole back 3 formation. So I think, you know, Xhaka, Wilshere, Ramsey, I think that could be a potential midfield 3 that we look to invest in when Ramsey returns back into the team in the new year. But I thought Jack Wilshere, especially tonight, did very well. Could have done better on the first goal we conceded, but Xhaka as well, thought he played well tonight. And then ahead of them, Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez and Lacazette, the 3 of them combining once again brilliantly. Lacazette didn't get on the score sheet tonight, hooked again at 70 minutes, but his hold-up play, magnificent, played some really good football at times, unlucky not to score. Alexis Sanchez, I said previously that I want to see him leave the club in January for a club like Paris Saint-Germain, and tonight he showed exactly what we're going to miss if he does leave Arsenal Football Club. But let's not forget as well the amount of poor performances and the amount of times he's given the ball away for Arsenal this season, and how costly that's been to us. Yes, he had a very good game tonight, as did a few other players, but I think we are all very aware now that his time at Arsenal is drawing to a close. It's just a delight to watch him when he plays the kind of game that he did tonight. I thought he was magnificent. And Mesut Ozil as well. with a player like Ozil, he's been tremendous this season. If you took De Bruyne out of Man City and put Mesut Ozil into that City side, honestly, City would not miss De Bruyne in the slightest. He's a magnificent player. If we were winning trophies, we'd be talking about him as one of the best players to have played in the Premier League. He was absolutely sublime once again tonight, as he has been this season. And that front three, I mean, it's going to be a shame to inevitably see it broken up, but whilst we've got them playing together, especially when they're on song, it's just a joy to watch. But, I mean, let's get into the game itself. The first half, I thought, on social media in particular, there were a lot of negative vibes coming from Arsenal fans, looking at how, you know, we hadn't started the game in the best of spirits. But I honestly thought it wasn't a particularly poor start from Arsenal. That opening 10 minutes was, I wouldn't even go as far as saying it was a bit cagey. We didn't let Crystal Palace have a sniff at goal. I think they had one shot on target in that first half. We defended resiliently. Chambers did very well against Wilfried Zaha, the most dangerous player in this game. Ruben Loftus-Cheek wasn't getting into the game that much. And we got our first goal, a brilliant effort first and foremost from Lacazette. Speroni spilling it back into the path of Mustafi, who then slotted it home with a very composed finish for a centre-half to make it 1-0. And it was a really good start to the game. It was the kind of start that we deserved. And it was good to see us play in that manner away from home, especially at a ground where we did so poorly at last season. So really positive on that front, and it was a shame that we didn't capitalise on that. We had chances to do so. We should have, to be honest, gone into that second half about 3-4-0 up with the chances that we had, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. And going out into that second half, they scored early doors. Again, poor defending from us, a brilliant finish from Andros Townsend, but the amount of players that just watched that ball diver into the penalty area, very poor from us, just ball watching, very rookie. And again, it's a simple mistake that Arsenal haven't dealt with, and thankfully it hasn't cost us, but it could have been. And other teams will punish you for those kind of mistakes. Jack Wilshere, I think, at fault as well, didn't close the ball down quick enough, but the defence as well, just all of them watching the ball go into the box. And as I say, a brilliant finish from Andros Townsend to make it 1-1. But thankfully, we didn't let that goal let us down. Alexis Sanchez coming up for a brace, both goals as good as each other, did really, really well. The one that I particularly want to talk about, though, that ball from Jack Wilshere, just showing exactly what he's capable of, playing it through to Alexis to make it 3-1 in this instance. Took it down brilliantly and put it into the back of the net. But balls like that from Jack Wilshere, absolutely sublime. A player that, if he's on form, as he has been for us in recent weeks, can be such a pivotal figure to this Arsenal team. And I do think we can incorporate a system where him, Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka all play together. And I think that will be one of the best. Hopefully, this is definitely wishful thinking from me, but I do hopefully see them playing together and forming what could be a very exciting midfield three for hopefully years to come, because I think those three players have got everything to complement each other in my eyes. But again, 3-1 seemed to be smooth sailing, but unfortunately towards the end of the game, James Tompkins coming in with a header to make it 3-2. And again, it just it evidences our lapses in concentration at the back. Granted, it was a good header, but again, defensively poor on our behalf. And it's a game where we've seen it out in the most typical of Arsenal circumstances. A little bit cagey at the end, but we've come through out of the game with 3 points. Got to say, on the spin of things, given the way we've been playing away from home, as I said at the start of this video, it's a good 3 points to collect, and hopefully we can build on this and get a couple more away victories, and well, a lot more away victories, because frankly our away form has been diabolical this season. But we've got a big game next, Chelsea, which is certainly going to, oh, not Chelsea, Chelsea next week, but we've got a very winnable fixture coming up against West Bromwich Albion away from home, and a game that I'm certainly looking forward to. Again, another chance for us to build on our away form, a chance for us to get more points on the board. And you know, with places in the top four being so exceedingly tight this season, it's vital that we get as many points as possible against the teams that we should be beating, and West Brom is certainly one of those sides. It's a team that are resilient, going to be hard to break down, coming up against, of course, ex-gunner Kieran Gibbs, but it should be a game that we're capable of winning. And judging by today's performance, we know that we're capable of getting goals. It's just a case of being more resilient at the back. I certainly want to build on this on this team that played today. I think it was one of the more exciting starting 11s we've seen in recent weeks, a team that I certainly agreed with going into the game. And yeah, as I say, more than happy to come out of the game with 3 points and be entertained with what was a very exciting spectacle on the night. But anyway, guys, those have been my thoughts on the game. I hope you've had a brilliant Christmas, and I hope you all have a brilliant and fantastic New Year. I'll be in touch with you after then. In the meantime, speak to you soon.